6 tips and tricks for Subtlety Rogue PvP in the War Within. Subtlety Rogue can be one of the most complicated specs to play in PvP. When used correctly, it's also one of the most powerful. Today, I'd like to share 6 tips and tricks that are guaranteed to improve your win rate in Arena as a sub rogue, with a huge bonus tip at the end that you don't want to miss. Tip number 1. When to press Evasion and Cloak of Shadows. Most new rogues might naturally assume Evasion and Cloak of Shadows should be reserved only as emergency defense buttons when your health gets low. What if I told you that's completely wrong? Evasion and Cloak of Shadows have a variety of uses. While they can save your life when you're low on health, sometimes Cloak of Shadows and Evasion are actually better used offensively to help maintain pressure on the other team or secure the kill. Using Cloak of Shadows while bursting against classes like mages and priests will prevent them from stopping you with spells like Frost Nova and Psychic Scream. Or, let's say you've got someone in a kidney shot bursting on them and you see their teammate casting Cyclone or Polymorph on you. Just press Cloak of Shadows and you'll have easily prevented them from peeling you off their teammate. Evasion can be used in a similar manner, preventing you from being disarmed or hit by certain stun effects and other physical crowd control abilities like Gouge, allowing you to stay on target and use your full burst without being interrupted. Tip number 2. How to use Feint. Feint is a useful, low cooldown defensive ability with 2 charges that provides a 20% damage reduction for 6 seconds when using the Elusiveness talent. I highly recommend taking this talent over Cheat Death. The added damage reduction during evasion is very strong, and having a 20% damage reduction with Feint that's almost always available can really keep the game going a lot longer when you're in a tough situation. Cheat Death can save your life if you get caught in a stun, but since crowd control durations were reduced back in Dragonflight, Cheat Death just doesn't provide quite the same value as Elusiveness. The best rogue players use add-ons like Omnibar or Gladius X to track when the enemy team has their stun abilities ready. This way, you can try to predictively cast Feint before you get stunned to reduce the damage done to you during the stun. Tip number 3. Shadow Strike Kick. Most rogues know about using Shadow Step to kick casters, but something many rogues miss is the fact that when in stealth, it's actually better to press Shadow Strike Kick. Kick isn't tied to the global cooldown, which means it can be pressed at the same time as another spell. Shadow Strike, like Shadow Step, teleports you behind your target when used from stealth. So if you're in stealth, always use Shadow Strike to kick. You'll save your Shadow Step cooldown and get a little free damage with the Shadow Strike. Not to mention, Shadow Strike does 25% increased damage when used from stealth, and we don't want to just let that go to waste. Tip number 4. Shadow Step for defense. Aside from being a great offensive tool to help you stay on target or kick spellcasters, Shadow Step is also a quick and effective way to pull back and retreat from the action when things get too crazy. If you're against a team with a lot of range damage and you feel like you're in trouble, just Shadow Step to a teammate to quickly jump to a pillar or wall where you can hide, heal up, and/or re-stealth. Use this macro to cast Shadow Step on your party members without having to change your current target. Tip number 5. When to press Dismantle. Dismantle is a powerful disarm ability on a 45-second cooldown. Dismantle has 2 primary uses in Arena. When enemy melee DPS use their burst cooldowns, Dismantle is a great way to shut down their damage and reduce the pressure on your team. Beware that rogues will often use evasion to avoid this, and monks will quickly press Fists of Fury to avoid this as well. To prevent this from stopping you, press Shadow Step right before you dismantle. Since Shadow Step puts you behind your target, Dismantle will never miss, even if they've used evasion or Fists of Fury. Besides being a great defensive tool, Dismantle is also a strong offensive ability specifically against warriors. Since Dismantle removes both weapons and shields, it prevents warriors from using Shield Wall or Retaliation. Sometimes a warrior will sit through your kidney shot and let you burst them, then pop Shield Wall or Retaliation right when the kidney shot is over, and they just seem to live forever. If you dismantle them right as kidney shot runs out, they can't do anything for another 4 seconds, and sometimes that's all you need to finish them off. Tip number 6. Stop wasting your stuns. When facing against mages, they can blink free from your stun 2 to 3 times before you can actually stun them in full. Death Knights can press Icebound Fortitude, which not only gives them a damage reduction, but also breaks them free from and grants temporary immunity to all stun effects. The best way to counter this is, instead of wasting your global cooldowns and energy on stuns that do no damage and will have no effect, just press damage on every single global instead. Most of the time, mages will still blink away, and Death Knights will still use Icebound Fortitude for the damage reduction against your burst. Then, after it wears off, they'll be completely vulnerable to your stuns. I have one more big tip for you guys, arguably the most powerful one in this video, but the reason I'm including it as an unofficial bonus tip is that unfortunately this mechanic is subject to change in November when patch 11.0.5 comes out. Data mined information has revealed some fairly major changes to a few rogue skills, and if those are confirmed, then this tip may no longer be effective or as effective as it is now. I will likely post another video with more information and my thoughts on these rogue changes in the near future. For now, one of the most powerful tools we have as a sub-rogue is the ability to reduce or completely reset the cooldown on all our major abilities 2 times per match by pressing Vanish, due to the invigorating Shadow Dust talent. While most rogues are aware of this mechanic to some degree, I don't see many using it to the fullest potential. While everyone knows Vanish is a great way to reset your burst, were you aware that it will also instantly reset the cooldown on kick? This can put ridiculous pressure on casters and healers that can often win games. You can fully burst the enemy healer in a stun lock combo, then kick their first heal out of it and stay on them dealing damage the entire time. Then, after the kick runs out and they try to cast another heal, just vanish and press Shadow Strike Kick to stop their heal again. Then, it'll only be a matter of seconds until you have your burst cooldowns back too, or you could even vanish one more time for a third kick and to instantly get your burst cooldowns back. And don't forget about Crimson Vial. It can be an instinctual reaction when you're in trouble to instantly vanish and then drink your Crimson Vial, but there's actually a way to get twice as much healing. If you can remember and you're able to, try to press Crimson Vial before you vanish, and then it'll be ready again almost instantly after you vanish. Just keep in mind that Crimson Vial is a heal over time effect, not an instant heal, so make sure you wait for the entire effect to run out before you press it for the second time. Well, that's it for today's tips. Please like the video and make sure to subscribe for some of the hottest WoW content on YouTube, and don't forget to share this video with a friend. Thanks guys, see you on the next one.